So Putin recently offered Russia's prized S-400 air defense missile system to Riyadh.
Just as the Iranian leaders did, having purchased the S-300, and as President Erdogan did, having purchased the S-400 Triumph air defense system from Russia, it can reliably protect any of Saudi Arabia's infrastructure.
Because apparently the Saudis need their help, in the wake of their oil refineries being bombed by a few drones and reportedly some missiles that somehow evaded America's not-so-hot Patriot missiles. The ones the House of Saud just loves to buy for huge money.
We have military power, the likes of which the world has never seen.
And yet that mighty military power was overwhelmed and outwitted. Because, when the shit you're selling doesn't work, you better start pointing fingers pretty darn quickly. But hold on, just hold on a sec. Didn't Saudi Arabia already agree in 2017 to buy Russia's S-400? I mean, let me show you. Just have a look at all the headlines. This was already a done deal, but it all seemingly went quiet. Maybe Washington made Riyadh an offer it couldn't refuse. So why Putin's recent comment then? Was he just trolling Riyadh, or maybe it was indeed actually a sales pitch? Or perhaps he was just highlighting to the world the failure of Washington's weapons to protect the Saudi oil fields. Because, whether you like it or not, word is out that Russia's weapons, most notably the S-300 and S-400 missile series, they're the best. And buyers are lining up.
Речь идет минимум о 13 государствах. Среди них Саудовская Аравия, Ирак, Катар, Египет и Вьетнам. Ну и санкции Вашингтона их не пугают.
And neither is China. In fact, Beijing was one of the very first to get its hands on the S-400. That was back in 2018. India has also coughed up the cash, although Washington tried to, shall we say, deter it from doing so. Syria has also jacked up its air defenses, and yet you wonder why it's mostly quiet in that war-torn country these days. And of course, then there's NATO member Turkey picking up the S-400, much to the irritation of Washington, so much so, in fact, that it now doesn't want to sell its ally the F-35 for fear, get this, for fear that the Russian technology would make the most expensive, I should say, the world's most expensive fighter jet redundant. Oh dear. You see, Russia's S-300, S-400, and the upcoming S-500 Prometheus, yep, you heard that right, these are touted by many as the best in the world. But why?
S-400 is a Russian-made anti-aircraft missile system. It's been called one of the most reliable air defenses around and can shoot down almost any target. The S-400 has a range of 400 kilometers and can track hundreds of targets simultaneously.
It's also about what's called A2AD, translated as anti-access and area denial. And it's certainly got some big wigs sweating badly.
Access area denial, or A2AD as we talk about it, is a growing problem. Russia has developed a very strong A2AD capability in the Black Sea.
But it's not just the Black Sea by any stretch. Russia has set up the S-series, of course, in Moscow, Kaliningrad, Crimea. By 2020, it will have 56 battalions nationwide. So all of Russia's airspace will be totally protected. But you see, with all these other nations scrambling to buy the Russian defense system, you're going to start to see, well, in fact, we're already seeing it, these A2AT anti-access bubbles popping up all around the world. Venezuela has the S-300. Then look at China and the Middle East with Turkey, Syria, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Qatar and India. We're starting to see these defense bubbles now popping up worldwide. But why? What are they afraid of? Well, after Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, Syria, and today's rhetoric against, Venezuela, China, Russia, North Korea, and on and on and on, it might seem to some that the world's global players are on the hunt for an insurance policy. And that policy just happens to be made in Russia.